Hello. So today's video I'm going to look at how I made this card and this card. I've been asked how I did it. So I used Spellbinders Season's Greeting Evergreens press plate. It's a Betterpress plate, but you can foil with them. There's no issue foiling with them. They're just more detailed than traditional hot foiling plates. So it's a row of trees, and it comes with a sentiment, but also a die to cut the sentiment out. So just a little Season's Greeting sentiment. Okay, so the backgrounds for these are from a Hunkydory paper pad, and it's this one. Okay, I don't know if it's still available. I bought it last year. Let me just put the camera up a little bit while I flick this. So you can see, let me start at the back and flick it to the front. I think that's the best way to do it. So you get several copies of each. Oops, it's missing some. So I've basically picked some foil that will match nicely in with the colours in the picture, and use that for my hot foiling for the trees. The white of the trees is just the white of the cardstock I've foiled onto. Okay, so that's the backgrounds, and I think I might actually use this one. Not done this one before, so but we'll put that to one side and just refer to it when we want some colour. Okay, so you can see the foil plate is bigger than the topper I've made. Okay, so you can pick which bit you want to use. Okay, and so that the background of the sky here matches in with this. This is just done with some blending inks, and I've masked off where my trees are going to go before I do the inking. So that the white on the trees isn't contaminated with the colour of the sky. Okay, so to mask it, very simply, I've drawn around the foil plate. So you just put it face down on some card, and I've drawn around, so I've just held it still, face down some card, drawn around it with some pencil, and I'm just finishing off cutting it out. You don't need to be exact. It is just to give you some white space in approximately the right places. I'm cutting just inside my pencil line most of the time, because I don't want a big white line around my trees. I want it to look quite sort of seamless, really. Wiggle there, wiggle there. Okay, so that's my mask, and before I cut it out, I wrote on the back up, so I know I've got to put it down that way. Okay, I think that's right. No, I'm wrong. I want it, yes, I do want it with that side up. No. So let me write that on, so otherwise it'll be the wrong way. My masking will be the wrong way round. Okay, this isn't sticky, it's just some thin card. Okay, so before I do anything else, I'm going to decide where my trees need to go on my piece of card. Now, I've made square toppers, and I happen to have a square of card. I may end up a bit smaller, but you need to decide on your composition. And the deer and the trees in front, they're die cuts. Okay, so I've got some John Next Door dies that were released, I think it was the year before last, deer scenes. It might have been last year. Do you know, I can't remember. So you need to think about where they will come in relationship to your trees. And you'll want some snow kind of between them, and so you're going to think about something like that, and some space for your sky, and maybe a little bit lower. Okay, so just think about where you want your mask, and I'm just going to use a bit of low tack tape at the bottom to roughly keep it still. And if you haven't got John Next Door's deer scenes, you know, these were some Creative Expressions dies, and they do, you know, there's trees in that set, and so other companies will do them. Let me make sure I've got this straight, because you don't want wonky trees. Okay, so I'm going to put these out the way because I don't want ink on them, and then I'm just going to get a blending brush and some ink. Okay, I've got a selection distress inks. This one's Salvage Patina. Actually, I'm just going to get my messy matte rather than this surface. Bear with me a second. That's it, right. Things tend to sit still on here and it cleans up easily. So, just some ink. Make sure I've not got too much on the brush. And I'm just going to put some colour into the sky. And believe me, it really doesn't have to be in any way perfect. I'm going to take more of a purple. That would have had any ink in it. Have some speckled egg. I'm just going to find something that's more of a, I want some yellow maybe. Well, that's definitely a yellow. It's called Rubber Duck. Doesn't matter which inks you use. Whatever you've got. And then I just want a darker blue. Not too worried about coming down the edges because I'm probably only going to use the middle bit. There. So I've got a nice wintry sky above where my trees are going to go. Okay, so now I can take the mask off and figure out where my foil plate's going to go. Now you're probably thinking, how on earth are you going to line up that in the right place and make sure it doesn't move when you're foiling? Well, it's, the way I do it is I'm just going to make sure I've covered the white and have a look at how close the foil lines on this. Let me just zoom in. Foil lines on this are go right to the edge of the plate. Okay, so long as I don't see white, I should be fine. Okay, so I'm going to put that down on there. Now some people might use the tape hinge method, and the Spellbinders demonstrators tend to use that method. I like to use a nice strong magnet. That's what you have with a stamping platform. Okay, and mine's wrapped in a big piece of masking tape so that it's got a handle. It must have a handle on it. Or you might have this sort that come in a plastic holder. So they're very good. They've already got the handle on them. So position this, put the magnet on the back, and then finish off fine adjusting your position, because you can still move it a little bit. If you can't, just move your magnet attach, and there we go. That'll do. Okay, so I've got the magnet on the back, and that holds it in place while I put it on my hot foiling platform. Now I must stress, I'm using a GoPress foil, but you can do exactly the same if you've got a Spellbinders glimmer. Okay, I'll leave that there a second. I also need to decide what foil I'm going to use, and I think I'm going to go for this very vivid turquoise. I can't remember what brand this roll is, so whatever foil you've got really, doesn't, you know, as long as it's the right sort of foil. I'm going to cut that damaged piece off. Might use that for the sentiment later. And then I'm not going to go right to the end, so I'm just going to go there. So that will go across there. Take that damaged edge off. That's going to cause me no end of trouble. And I'm also going to take the corners off at the ends. As I say, I'm only going to use the middle bit, so that will be fine. Okay, so now I need to put this on my GoPress foil in the right place. Move my bin. So normally I don't take my hot foiling platform off its base when I do this. I stand up and I lean over, but it'll be easier for you to see if I bring it in front of me. So the hot bit, get that out of the way. So my hot foiling platform, I'm going to open the lid. I'm going to get a large piece of masking tape ready. Just going to put that where I can grab it easily, and then I'm going to position this on my hot foiling platform, and you can either use the side or the end. I tend to use the end, and I'm going to put that down, and the edge of the hot foiling platform is cool, so there's no problem taping your card to it. Okay, whether you've got glimmer, Gemini foil press or GoPress and foil or some other brand, that surround is cool and you can stick your card to it. Okay, so now I'm going to just put my finger carefully in the middle, or if I need to I can hold down with something that's going to protect my fingers from the heat. Just pull my magnet away. Okay, and then I can use that as a hinge. So I'm going to put this back on its base so that the plate can heat up. Okay, so that's over there on the hot boiling platform, and I'm going to open the lid and I'm going to flip the card forward so that it isn't heated with the plate. Okay, and that is to help reduce any overfoiling I might get. So we're just waiting for this to hot up. I also thought about doing this in some sparkly silver foil, some green foil, and some very, very dark blue. Right, that feels hot to me. So I'm going to need some card shims. I know I do, my hot foiling platform. So my piece of foil, as you would with any other hot foiling plate, move that down as far as I can, because some overfoiling at the bottom won't matter, but at the top it will. Okay, and then I can flip my card down. I can put my shims on, and then because the hot foiling plate is already properly heated up, I should just be able to roll this through my die cutting machine. I'm not going to pull this straight off the platform. I'm going to use my tape hinge, and I'm going to peel that off. That foil changed colour halfway down. I think it must have faded at some point, but actually it's quite a nice effect. So the foiling's done properly. If it wasn't, I can put this back down and try foiling again. So that's all there is to it. Okay, now if you want to, you can try blending your ink down a little bit further if you want to. I'll have a bit of ink on the brush still, just to make sure I haven't got areas that are too white. But there's my hot foiling. Let me just put this camera up a bit to get some better light on this. There. Okay. So then I just need to pick out the bit I want and put my die cuts in front of it. And if you decide you wanted more detail in your mask, you can adjust that. Obviously I've done mine quite quickly just to demonstrate today. So we need some deer to go in front of that. So I say I've got that one. That's a bit big. Oh, this is the one I used on my card, which is lovely. So all I need to do is cut that out. from some card. Another piece of card, and think about how much below you might want this. So I'm going to cut it quite near the top. You might have a village scene that you want to put in front of this. So this die, you have to finish off the cut. Get that one right. And then you need to decide how far down they're going to go. Okay, something like that. And what I did was I got all this lined up, and then I used a square die to cut my scene out. So if I stick that down where I want it, and you can, I'm just going to use some glue. Oh, lose that bit. So I have just put some wet glue on the back of the card. So I'm going to line this up where I want my foreground to be. Let that stick for a minute or two. Oh, I've got a bit of card in there I don't want. Alright, let's turn it over and put some glue along this back edge. Wrong glue bottle. And then I can take my die, whichever shape die I want to use. I think I'll see what an oval looks like for this one. So I could use an oval. Or I could go the other way. That would be quite nice. Yeah, let's do an oval. I'm just going to stick my die down on my die piece. This is just a piece of punchy pocket. It just helps reduce the wear on my cutting plates a bit and helps the die cut. And there. Bring this up so I can get more light on this. So there we are. I just need to mat and layer that with some suitable card. If you want to add snow, then you can either use a white gel pen, or depending on what ink you've used and how much it's soaked into your card, get yourself one of these. It's a Faber-Castell eraser pencil, and I think it's meant for rubbing out coloured pencil. It says Perfection 7058B. I bought it on Amazon. Okay, so let me test this out on my leftover piece here. Now here's an idea. You could always turn that into an aperture. You might want to have more card at the top available, so start on a bigger piece of card, but principle's there. I'm just going to see if this would work. Now I'm literally just going in little circles and seeing if I can rub the ink out. So it depends what sort of ink you've used, how well it's soaked into your card. I'm not having much effect here. So let's see if a white gel pen does any better. I can just add in some white spots to give the suggestion of snow. Or if you've got a white paint marker, something like that. So let's bring the background over, see how well I did on the colour. Well, I think if I was to pick out a section there, a section there maybe, or down there, I think I've done pretty well on that. I think that will match in quite nicely. And as I say, you need to mat and layer. Maybe some navy blue card on this one. Which I just happen to have down here because I was using these dies for something earlier. Is that the die I cut out with? Yes, and there's the bigger one that goes with it. I'm just going to cut one of these because things always look better when they're framed. And if I was making a card, I would probably be efficient with my card use, and I'd have cut the blue as a matte for my background and then cut this out of the middle of it. but I didn't plan that well today. Oh yes, that sets it off. Then we just need to decide which piece of this we need really. And I tend to make cards that are just a bit smaller than 6x6 because I make my black card blanks from A4 card. So they're just a bit smaller than that. So by the time I've done a matte layer, and that's usually, so if I'm going to want that, I'm just going to decide which piece of this background I want. I think I'm probably going to go somewhere like that. Yeah. I assume I want something like about 14 centimetres, 5.5 inches, something like that. There. And then I don't think I want all of the top. Let's take some of that off. So now things are looking much more in proportion. So I will make that up as a card and you'll see it on the thumbnail for the video. But that's how I use the Spellbinders Season's Greeting Evergreens press plate with my hot foiling platform. Okay, thanks for watching.